Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's ENS webinar with the title Impact of ENS Individual Membership. My name is Markus Wiedman from Oslo University Hospital, Norway, and I'm very pleased to moderate this webinar together with Loredana, Agavriloaei from Nicolae Oblu Hospital in Romania. Today, we will explore how the ENS individual membership actually contributes to training, collaboration, and professional development across European neurosurgery, and also how it can support neurosurgeons at different stages of their careers. Just before we begin, a short technical note. Please submit your questions throughout the webinar using the Zoom Q&A function. We will then address the questions during the discussion at the end. Also, this webinar builds on a previous webinar that was organized by the individual members committee. And if you're interested, you can find that webinar online on the ENS website. So hopefully today we can provide a more personal perspective on the value of membership and the many ways how you can become actively involved in the society. I will now hand over to Loredana, who will introduce our speakers.
Thank you, Markus, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Our first speaker is Professor Francesco Sala, the president of the EANS and professor and chair of neurosurgery at the University Hospital in Verona, Italy. Professor Sala will talk about the EANS, organization and structure of the society, why to get involved with the EANS as a neurosurgeon. Thank you, Professor Sala, for being with us today, and you can begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Loredana, and thank you, Markus, for the kind introduction. I'm anything but delighted to be here today, particularly as a president, to share some ideas and vision on the structure of our society and the value for our members. Let me share my slides. Okay, I hope you can see it. So the subtitle is Why to Get Involved with the ENS as a Young Neurosurgeon. I put young in brackets because what I'm going to address is relevant not only for young neurosurgeon, of course, but our younger colleagues are our main target, particularly because I will focus on education and research, which are two important pillars of the ENS. Of course, we cannot address all the different aspects of our society in just 12 minutes, but I encourage all of you to visit our website where you can find very detailed information about all the activities of the ENS. But I will start from our mission. So if you look at our constitution, the purpose of the ENS is to enhance the exchange of neurosurgical knowledge and experiences among its members, to promote the interest of the neurosurgical discipline, to facilitate the training of specialist neurosurgeons and surgeons in training, and to bring together national and international neurosurgical associations. So this is what the ENS is for. Now, I think that Michael Bruneau will touch base more on how we build our annual meeting and some of the role of our section committees and task forces. At the ENS, we have an executive committee made of the three presidents, the treasurer, and the secretary, and then, of course, an executive board, and then it's articulated in section committees, task forces, and you can find more information on the website. Now, I'm very happy that since yesterday, our professional guidelines are now available on our website. Here you will find our value. This is a document that we promulgated last year in Vienna, and it's really the core of the ENS values. So I really encourage all of you to read the professional guidelines. And of course, every president has his own vision and perspective on how to promulgate, implement, and promote our mission. I will not take your time here, but you're more than welcome to go to the web page to see the president welcome address. where I've shared basically the motto for these 2 coming years, I care, which stays for 5 keywords: inclusivity, consolidation, alliance, research, and education, which I hope could be the leitmotif of our ENS activities for the next 2 years. But let's go now back to education, which is what I'd like to address today. This is just a map of Europe. We have 41 member societies at the ENS. You can imagine how heterogeneous can be the training program across Europe. But the ENS has always valued a lot education, providing since its foundation educational courses. We have courses for the pre-specialist qualification training and postgraduate courses. The traditional training courses established in 1974 are really one of the strongest pillar and constitutes really the legacy of the ENS. In 2012, we introduced also the hands-on courses, which are targeted to residents from the 3rd year and older. And of course, we have also a large portfolio of postgraduate training events. Now, the ENS training courses are addressing a 4-year cycle where every year the trainees focus on different topics: tumor, vascular, trauma, function and peripheral nerve surgery, and spine. Thanks to the equivalence program with Eurospine, now the ENS chapter allows also to obtain the Eurospine basic diploma. So these are another value for those taking the spine course. And what you can expect at the educational courses are great lectures from the experts in the field presenting the state of the art of neurosurgery in different areas of our discipline. Breakout sessions which have a more interactive solve the case format with interaction between the faculty and the trainees. The video session with how I do it to see how the master addressed different neurosurgical challenges. And then the very popular discussion group where basically a few faculty members interact with the trainees to discuss different neurosurgical scenarios. Now, at the training course, we work very hard, but also we have very good times. These courses represent a unique opportunity not only to meet your peers, to establish friendship, collaboration, but also to meet faculty members and have opportunities for mentorship program. So it's really a unique opportunity for both the trainees and the faculty to interact, get knowing each other, and establish collaboration and friendships over the years. The ENS offers the European Board Examination Neurological Surgery. This has been implemented in 2015, thanks also to the collaboration with the section of neurosurgery of the European Union of Medical Specialists. The board exam is made of 2 parts. Part 1 is an electronic multiple choice questionnaire. Part 2 is the oral examination. And since Sofia, thanks to our previous president, Torsten Melling, we have introduced a celebration for all those who have obtained the diploma. So we have this very special session at our annual meeting, which I hope will continue to be a fixed appointment for our meeting and become a legacy for the ENS Congress. A couple of words to say that the training committee, it's really one of the strongest and important committee of the ENS. Is currently chaired by Pablo Gonzalez and is made of 1 delegate for each member society. They have the responsibility of all the scientific contents and the teaching of the training courses. So we are really very much in depth for their very important work. We have a young neurosurgeon committee and the young neurosurgeons network is also an essential part of our activities. The mission of the Young Neurosurgeon Committee is basically to bridge the time between your residency time and the time where we are more established as a neurosurgeon in the early phase of our career. So this is addressing particularly young neurosurgeons in the first decade after their training. And here the goal is to support them to develop their leadership and their skills in research, communication, and neurosurgery. It's currently chaired by Milan Lepic, And I invite all of you to attend the 15th annual Young Neurosurgeon meeting, which will take place in Faro in Portugal at the end of May. Research is one of the critical pillars of the EANS. We are now at the stage where we are rethinking and reorganizing our research pillar. We have the research committee, which is chaired by one of the panelists of today, Katrin Rabiei. Katrin is very active. She's also our representative at the European Brain Council. And the goal and the duties of this committee is to organize training courses on research methodology, to judge the research awards which are submitted to the EANS. So it plays an important role. I would like to mention the EANS Research Fund. This is an initiative that we started a few years ago with the aim to offer young neurosurgeons seeding grants of 10,000 euros to develop their project and to support a pilot project, giving them the resources to then eventually be able to apply for more competitive European grants. The problem is that retrospectively we realized that this research fund, of course, awards excellence, so the best projects are awarded, but the vast majority of the award in the past few years were always assigned to a very restricted number of countries, probably leaving behind trainees from countries where they have less research opportunities and funding opportunities. So we thought it was important to establish a second track which can support young neurosurgeons to have research experience. And so we embrace a program of the European Community called the Wiedera program, which has the goal to widen the participation of European countries in research and spreading excellence towards Europe. So basically, this track of the research fund targets young researchers who aim at a research career despite a lack of opportunities in the country of their residency. And so the ultimate goal is to strengthening their potential to successfully participate in research, in applying for grants, and eventually bringing home experiences that they can then develop at their own center. So I'm very pleased to announce that the Wiedera Research Award was launched 2 days ago. You can find the application now online. So if you are practicing one of the countries listed here, you can apply for this grant. The EANS will support up to 4 grants of 15,000 euro to support a 6-month research visit in an experienced either basic research or clinical research institution across Europe. And finally, I would like just to shortly mention another project that we hope to launch this year. This is the so-called Junior EANS or GEANS program, with the goal to implement the existing database that you can find on our website with a sort of archive and database where you can find for every neurosurgical institution in Europe what are the chances for observership, fellowship. There will be information about the credentials needed to apply for this position, if there will be any opportunities for housing or funding. So we hope this may ultimately be an instrument for all our trainees and their mentors to implement the exchanges across European neurosurgical centers with a sort of EANS Erasmus program. So I would stop here. We will have time for questions later on, not before inviting all of you again to attend the meeting in Hamburg. And I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you also, Professor Sala, for this valuable information. I'm sure your presentation helped everyone understand the EANS mission more. Our next speaker is Professor Michael Bruneau. He is the chairman of the Department of Neurosurgery at UWS Brussels in Belgium. His talk will be on the EANS organization, the scientific liaison and section chair perspective. We are glad to have you here with us, Professor Bruneau. Please, whenever you're ready, you can start. Professor Bruneau.
Sorry, Michael, you're muted. Okay, I muted myself in order not to interfere with the talk of Francesco. So thank you for your kind introduction. It's my pleasure to be with you today and discuss some particular function in the EANS. My talk will be complementary to the one of Francesco Sala, specifically focusing on the function of scientific liaison I'm occupying now, and also the function of scientific chair I occupy between 2019 and 23. I was chair of the EANS school-based section. So the scientific liaison position is a board member position. You see here an illustration showing all the members of the board. On the left, the voting member, on the right, the non-voting member. The scientific liaison position is a position in which the goal is to create the scientific program of the EANS annual congress. This is the main function, I will say, that occupy 80% of my time. But I have also to give my authorization for the endorsement of all EANS scientific events, meaning surveys that are published in our community, the courses that are endorsed by the EANS. I have to check the scientific content and give the approval, and also all the events that are announced on our website. To be announced on the website, all the applicants have to fill in a form that is available on the website, and there are different criteria that have to be filled in. And as soon as the scientific content is appropriate, then the EANS give its endorsement. What is interesting, why to become an individual member of the EANS? If you are individual member, you will have a discount if you would like to register to some event. So this is one of the interests of being individual member. So regarding the Congress organization, I will check the scientific content and will promote all the high quality works. This is the main part of the activity. I take care of the distribution of the session, and by example, you see in Hamburg, there are a lot of sessions that are organized. By example, 4 long plenary, 3 short plenaries, 12 spotlight sessions. Those spotlight sessions are a new concept where there are only 3 sessions running in parallel, meaning that the attendance will be very interesting. There are 42 long parallel sessions, 56 short parallel ones, and 14 master classes. My job is also to check the geographical representation among all the countries that are well represented during the Congress event, and also the number of talks allocated per speaker. So the Congress is a collaboration between the scientific liaison, the EANS president, and the Congress president. We are truly always in contact several times along the weeks. The EANS is represented by the sections, the committees, and task force on one side. And on the other side, those section, committee, and task force are working closely with the local scientific committee, which is decided in consultation with the National Society by the Congress President. The Congress organization, meaning putting into the program different talks, different faculties, and those are divided in faculties given by the national societies, and the National Society have the opportunity each year to submit 5 proposed names, and out of which we will select 2 speakers and up to 2 chairs. Of course, we will have to avoid any repetition from years to years, and it is checked by the office. The scientific program is also composed by people selected by the section, committee, and chair in consultation with the local organizing committee. Those are the invited speakers. And finally, the scientific liaison, the EANS board, and the Congress president have the opportunity to promote some people to be integrated in the scientific program. Above those invited speakers, you have the abstract that are selected to be integrated into the program. Or are they integrated? We perform and we have changed a little the process of reviewing the abstract that are now evaluated on a sheet, on 20 points based on the type of work, the size of the study, the quality of the study, its originality, how it is presented or correctly written, and the country of origin. Who is evaluating the abstract? The panel members of all the sections, the section, of course, and committee task force chair, but also the local scientific committee members, and added to all those three categories, the independent list of reviewer, which is composed of around 150 persons. Each abstract is in fact reviewed by 5 to 7 reviewers, meaning that the number of abstracts that are reviewed is enormous, and all those reviewers give a total of point out of 20, meaning that at the end, the sum is converted to 100 in order to make a ranking of all the abstracts. And depending on this ranking, we made a cutoff based on the availability of the slots for oral presentation. By example, last year for the Vienna Congress, this cutoff was at this level. All the abstract ranked above were selected for oral presentation. Below, it was selected for e-poster presentation or flash presentation, and the final cutoff was to decide which abstract was selected for oral for e-poster presentation. The best abstract dedicated for some sections are, of course, the first two ones of each subspecialty. And to give you an idea, in Vienna, more than 2,000 abstracts were submitted, reviewed at least by 5 reviewers. It means more than 10,000 reviews of all the abstracts. Among the abstracts submitted for oral presentation, around 27% were selected to be presented orally. Then 20% of all the abstracts were selected as oral e-poster, and finally around 50% of the abstracts were selected for e-poster, with at the end a rejection rate of around 5%. This is the timeline of the different important moments in the constitution of the final EANS Congress program. You see various important deadlines, and I would like to stress out to finish the importance of the EANS office in building up this incredible event coordinated by the executive director, as you know, Valentini, but also with the great influence and activity of Prodromos and Cleo for the organization of this wonderful event. The second part of my talk dedicated to the activity as section chair. You have to know that there is a call of the EANS that ends up 3 months before the General Assembly. So for the ones who could be interested into this function, you have several possibilities to enter the position through the National Society. The National Society can provide the name of candidates, but also as individual member as soon as you are supported by 12 members, 12 individual members. So it's very important for yourself, if you would like to apply for such a position, that you are individual member of the EANS for at least 2 years. So if you are elected for a first mandate of 2 years, and there are essential activity that you have to fill in. You have to participate to the learning objective of the EANS training course. You have to contribute to the scientific programs of the EANS training courses, as well as the EANS Congress, a very important activity. You have to also participate to the organization of such events, such as advanced courses, subspecialty meetings, webinars. You have to be in contact regularly with your section member, and you have to contribute to the EANS official journal, which is Brain and Spine. And as we have seen for the skill-based section at that time, we have published quite a lot of paper. There are different other activities that are not mandatory, but that are of added value if you would like to increase the activity of the section. The section chair has to provide an action plan at the beginning of his term, and then there is an evaluation every 6 months. The section chair can be re-elected and can also be panel members for a couple of years. The section chair can at maximum be involved in a section during 10 years. And if someone is not chairing the section, the maximum length of the participation into a section is 8 years. If you would like to be a panel member, or it happened first of all after the election of the section chair during the General Assembly, during the first 2 weeks, there is a call of the EANS, and then those people who are individual members are able to apply during the next 2 weeks. Some criteria have to be filled in, but the main one is that you are individual members since at least 2 years of uninterrupted membership and member of that section. Then the section chair will make a selection among all the applications, and the panel will be composed of 5 to 14 panel members. The selection will be made on the quality of the application, on the interest and the country of practice in order to have a balanced representation. So the key message, if you would like to be panel member, it's very interesting. During the next election in 2027, you must be an EANS individual member in 2026. So you have to apply now if you are not yet, and 2027, and you must be a member of that section in 2027. So I will conclude now my talk and ready for all the questions at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for that insightful presentation. We will now move on to our next speaker. Dr. Francesco Signorelli is a neurosurgeon at the University of Bari, Italy, and a member of the EANS Individual Membership Committee. His talk today will focus on how individual membership strengthens training, career, development, and quality of care in European neurosurgery. Dr. Signorelli, thank you for being with us, and you can start whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I'm really happy and grateful for this kind invitation. Today, as Loredana just said, I'm going to discuss how individual membership may transform, really transform career, may develop and improve the training across Europe, and also how can really best the quality of care, which is at the end our most important engagement, and why in all these individual engagement matters. So speaking about training, in Europe, roughly 1.5 million neurosurgical procedures are performed a year, but there is a wide variability across centers. This results in a marked variability in training exposure, with sometimes an unequal access to surgical expertise, especially for some subspecialties like skull base, vascular, sometimes pediatrics, radiosurgery, functional neurosurgery. And what I think is that without a structured supranational coordination, this variability becomes inequality. You may know, most of us are aware about this multinational survey of the neurosurgical trainees across Europe published 10 years ago, that showed a substantial heterogeneity in training exposure. Up to 40 to 50% of trainees reported insufficient exposure to at least one major neurosurgical subspecialty, and also with a limited or even absent access to a structured simulation training and cadaver lab in many programs. So how individual membership can improve all that? Individual membership is a formidable tool that provides a direct access to a structured European training series of pathways through a lot of activities, through the European Training Committee activities, as our president and Michael already stressed, to the research committee activities, to the section and task forces initiatives, and to a structured training courses from basic to advanced. We also have career labs, hands-on workshops, and as Francesco told us, there is now an observership network and also digital education like the present one. And at the end, the European board examination will, and this is a very important, let's say, maybe final step. It's the European board examination has the role to evaluate these European competencies. So at the end, the individual membership may represent a measurable educational equalization across Europe. Educational research consistently shows that a structured, competency-based training may improve the preparedness and reduces the error rates. So individual membership connects all members, not just trainees, but all members virtually, all members of the EANS, to this structured ecosystem that will result in a continuous professional development. But most, let's say, maybe really the core of the career development depends on collaboration. And individual membership may expand our local career toward an international trajectory through building professional networks, as individual membership, participating to the EANS Young Neurosurgeons Committee, to EANS congresses, to the section and task forces initiatives, thus building multi-center collaborations and leadership opportunities. So at the end, my key message is the collaboration drives a lot of opportunities that it is really even very difficult to foresee. But EM, the individual membership, is not like that. Being an individual member may shape and improve the quality of care. At the end, it is really what matters to us, to our daily life as a neurosurgeon. How? Drafting EANS guidelines and consensus, but also trying to harmonize surgical indications, trying to standardize the outcome definitions, and this is very important, transparently, honestly reporting complications, and also diffusing evidence-based practice that we can build being an individual member, being an active individual member. But why EM matters right now? Well, we can say that we are entering an era of AI-assisted surgery with increased cross-border mobility, with a centralization of complex care, outcome-based evaluation, and also an increasing medico-legal scrutiny. But what I think really matters is that a fragmented specialty is vulnerable. While a unified European neurosurgical community may strengthen advocacy for our discipline, care and research quality, and also professional protection. So, in summary, what I think is that the individual membership is an educational equalizer, a framework for professional growth, a quality assurance mechanism, and also a declaration of professional identity. So, what I want to close my speak with is that individual membership is not just a subscription, it is an engagement. and an engagement means responsibility. So if we really want to have a strong European neurosurgery, we have to be individually engaged. And being an individual member, I think it's maybe the correct way to do it. So thank you very much for your attention. And this is my city right now with a nice sun. And thank you again. So I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Francesco, for this very inspirational, I would say nearly philosophical talk, actually. So really inspiring as usual. I thank all of the speakers for these very excellent presentations, also highlighting very different aspects of the EANS membership, about the structure, about the education parts, but also about the professional opportunities that you mentioned a little bit. So let us now open the discussion, and I'll bring in our panel members to share some of their perspectives. So I'm very pleased to be joined by Katrin Rabiei. She's the chair of the EANS Research Committee. She's a consultant neurosurgeon in Sweden. Then we have Eleni Tsianaka. She's a neurosurgeon from Greece, currently working in Kuwait Hospital. And then we have Aysegul Aydin. She's a neurosurgeon from Turkey, affiliated with the University of Health Sciences in Turkey, Istanbul. So welcome. What I would like to do is I would like to structure this discussion about the three main topics or themes. The one topic would be about motivation. The second would be about opportunities. And then the third would be about impact of the EANS individual membership. So let me start the question about personal motivation. The question would be, what motivated you personally to become an EANS individual member? And how has this influenced your professional path? I'd like to start with you, Katrin, if you want to give us a comment on this.
Thank you, Markus, Loredana, and the rest of the faculty for your thoughts and inspirational speeches. So I would say that my sort of motivation going into this started as a trainee, something that was brought on by Francesco, Michael, and both Francesco Signorelli. There are a lot of opportunities for training. And one of the opportunities that was present before, and I think was mentioned now as an observership, was the various observerships, fellowships offered by EANS. So aside from after participating in congresses, presenting my research, and so on, first of all, discount was mentioned, that you can get a discount once you're a member from the Congress rate. So that was one sort of motivation to start with, but then to continue with the fellowship observership that was offered through EANS. So I have actually done the EANS Spine Fellowship at Wilkepol's department in Leiden, Netherlands. And that was a great opportunity. And then I applied for the Escalep Award and won the Escalep Award. So that's another opportunity. The research fund, the awards offered by EANS, those are huge opportunities. And then that has, I would say, inspired me, made me do more, wanting to get involved with the society more. And we heard about the aspect of, not just the individual person's motivation or sort of perspective, but as a European perspective or a global perspective, how we can have an impact as a society and on global level and advocate for neurosurgical research, funding, that sort of thing. So that has been an aspect that is nowadays inspiring me more and more. So from starting from the beginning as a trainee focusing more on sort of individual benefits for me. It has evolved as to seeing the bigger perspective and what we as a community together can do for our specialty.
Thank you, Katrin. You have already mentioned opportunities as well, which will be also the next topic, but that's really amazing. Maybe Aysegul, you want to comment something on your personal motivation?
Yes, Markus, I completely agree with Katrin. One of the most valuable aspects of EANS membership is the access to these training opportunities, such as observerships, fellowships, and specialized courses. EANS IM membership provides access to a broad European professional network and wide range of educational and research opportunities through courses, congresses, and committees activities. Members can connect with colleagues from different countries, exchange experience, and develop collaborative projects. Ultimately, it allows neurosurgeons to become part of a larger professional community that works together to advance neurosurgery, I can say.
Thank you. Yeah. Eleni, do you have any comments, any more thoughts about your personal motivation to become an individual member?
Yes. So first of all, I would like to point out that it is very important the centers, that the hospitals that we work, how much they are involved and how much our mentors are involved. So I was lucky because in the center I was, our professors, they were all deeply involved in EANS, and that's how we had the opportunity to find out all the benefits that we could have. And this was a great motivation for us. So it is more difficult if you are the only one in the center, just to try to find your way. But if you have the support, the right support, it is much better, and you can find all the right opportunities for you. So for me, the greatest benefit I had, and that was the primary motivation, was the international career. So from Greece, after that, I went in Russia for my fellowship on spine neurosurgery with Professor Konovalov. And after that, I found this opportunity and I came in Kuwait. So I can say that the EANS was a bridge for my international career.
Yeah, very, very important aspects that you mentioned. And also, I think it's important what you say is that leading by example, so that you had actually seniors that are involved in the EANS and you see what it actually brings you and the benefits you can get. I think that's a very important point. And if there's nobody involved in your department, you become the first one involved and you will be kind of the leader for that. So I think that's a really good point. So let's move a little bit further to the opportunities. Katrin has also mentioned some of them. What would you tell a young neurosurgeon about why joining the EANS early in their career actually matters? Maybe Eleni, you can just continue on this aspect.
Yes, so I can say that through EANS, we can have the right examples. We can follow the right guidelines. We can have access to sources that otherwise we cannot have. And we can understand that our colleagues around Europe, they follow and they support what we do. So following the right examples in the EANS can help our career and can help our practice. What we are doing based on books is different than what we are doing based on our experience and what we exchange in the congresses with our colleagues. So in the congresses, we can find out that what we are doing, other people are follow, and maybe in another way, so we can become better and better.
Yes, through discussion and exchange. Aysegul, you want to comment on this as well?
Yes, I believe EANS offers young neurosurgeons an exceptional platform for both professional and personal development. It provides access to high-quality educational activities, international networking opportunities, and mentorship from experienced colleagues. At the same time, it allows young members to actively contribute to scientific discussions and collaborative projects. Being part of such a dynamic and supportive community can significantly broaden specifically and open many opportunities early in a neurosurgical career.
Yes, those are very, very important aspects. Katrin, you want to add anything to that was mentioned?
I think I would echo what Aysegul was saying about the fact that you can find mentors, collaborators all around Europe, and you can go learn from them. You can form collaborations for research with them. And all that networking actually affects your career and also can be very motivational for yourself.
Excellent. And then just a question on the impact. So when you look back at your own career, your own experience, do you have one kind of memory about a specific opportunity within the EANS that had really the greatest impact, let's say, on your training or on your career in general, just to give some inspiration to the other people listening? Katrin, you can start on that one if you want.
I'd say for my case, that was an easy one because it was the Esculap Award, because it opened up the door to the research committee. And, it was a privilege to be at the final stage of my training to be invited to come along to the research committee, and from there take on and chair the research committee nowadays.
Excellent. Aysegul, for you?
Actually, I haven't any specific memory, but I can say from my personal experience, being involved in EANS has been very important for my career development. It allowed me to meet colleagues from different countries, build strong professional networks, and explore new opportunities such as collaboration. These connections are often just as valuable as educational activities themselves. And it's so important for me, I can say.
Thank you. Yes. And Eleni, do you have any specific memories or?
Yes, the turning point in my career was my fellowship, which actually I should thank EANS about it, because I had the opportunity to apply for this fellowship, and it was really a game changer in my career. I would like to add something else, that EANS gives great support to diversity, and I saw it very clear. It was a great support for my career through all these years. And I had the opportunity to work with other female colleagues and to share our challenges, which was a great motivation and a great support.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a very important point. Diversity, also transparency, which is really, really important in the EANS. And this is also one of the reasons why I want to do these webinars, to really show the transparency of the organization with all the aspects. So thank you. And any comments from Francesco Signorelli or Francesco Sala or from Michael Bruneau on the topics we just discussed?
Yeah, you go first.
Oh, as you want, Francesco. No, I entered the EANS when I was in the training course, and it was an incredible experience to meet all European colleagues, and even I met at that time the colleagues with whom I will work a few weeks after in Switzerland. So it was truly fantastic to start the networking already at that time. And I will say, I see in the chat when to enter, and what advice will you give to enter as soon as possible. You enter the family and you grow with the family, and all the people will grow with you if you enter as a resident, and you will be in a very big and very constructive group.
Thank you. Francesco, Sala, you had a comment as well.
I mean, for me, it was curious. I mean, I entered the EANS by chance in a way. I mean, I've been to some of the meetings when I was younger, but one day, about 15 years ago, I was asked by a friend of mine to replace him for a training course which was taking place in Padova, near Verona. So he couldn't go there. He asked me if I could replace him for his discussion group. That was the first time for me at the training courses. So it was interesting because during the discussion group, I saw that there were some senior people in the room. And I realized afterwards that they were the training committee faculty looking at my talk and whether or not it was okay for the standard of the discussion group. So that was the beginning of a very long story then with the EANS. But if I can just make a comment about how get involved, I think that for me, one of the keywords is inclusivity. It's not by chance that I choose that as the first keyword of my program, because we have a unique opportunity in Europe, right? I mean, we have such a rich continent in terms of culture, languages, tradition, neurosurgical expertise and traditions. And if we look at this as a value and a strength rather than as a weakness, that's really, it's an opportunity for all of us to get to be involved. Because if we are able to enhance and implement neurosurgery in each and every European country to give opportunities for training, opportunities for research, that will in the end increase the level of neurosurgery all throughout Europe. And that will make European neurosurgery stronger and stronger. So really, the invitation is to get involved as early as you can. There are many different ways to get involved in the EANS. And then if I can paraphrase John Fitzgerald Kennedy to some extent, once you get involved, then the next step is asking yourself not what the EANS can do for you, but what you can do for the EANS. It's a service at the end of the day, right? So, and we need everyone, absolutely.
Thank you, Francesco.
Yeah.
Francesco Senielli, you want to add something? You're muted still. You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, myself, yeah, sure. No, actually, the definition of individual member is like being an individual member to something. You have to build it. When I was younger, that was really quite time ago, I chose deliberately to become an EANS member. Because at that time, the training in Italy wasn't satisfying, really. So, and I had the luck to equalize that being an EANS member. I went to UK and then to France, and that was the inspiration I got from being an EANS member. So this is one other good point to exploit the pathways EANS offers to us, but obviously you have to be active to take them, to exploit them. There's nothing like passive evolution. The evolution is always active.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all very, very inspirational. Maybe we should all be less impressed and more involved into these societies that sometimes can be a little bit scary for younger people. And now Loredana, you have maybe some questions from the audience.
Yeah, so we got a great audience and we got some great questions, and going into what you said, Francesco Signorelli, about getting involved as soon as possible. Also, Michael pointed that out. I would like to ask you, we have a question about how can medical students contribute to the neurosurgical community throughout EANS? Do you have any advice for the younger generation? Let's start them young and get them involved. Maybe Francesco Signorelli, can you develop it more?
Well, medical, it's what I do for medical students, something I do here. maybe, I don't know, EANS, I think it's very open and could be open also to medical students. But EANS is a neurosurgical community. So medical students, they, by definition, have to yet decide whether to become a neurosurgeon or not. But anyway, we have some activities that can motivate medical students at least to go just a little bit more in depth in the neurosurgical world. So yeah, I think that the medical students, they should go just a little bit more in depth in the neurosurgical world, try to understand if that is their real interest, and they should maybe start in getting an interest in neurosurgery where they study, I think, before doing the big step of the European in the European community, getting involved in the European level.
Sure. Thank you very much. Francesco Sala, do you have something to add or have
Yeah, just to add on this, I mean, this is a very important point, right? We have receiving an increasing number of requests from medical students, how they can get involved in the EANS. So there are some initiatives. We started a few years ago, I think it was in Belgrade, to have the first pre-meeting course for medical students, a sort of advocacy for neurosurgery among the medical students, with the idea to introduce them to the field, exactly for the reason that Francesco was pointing out, to give them an opportunity to understand a bit more about neurosurgery, whether or not they're interested in that. And surprisingly, some medical students are very much oriented in the early years towards neurosurgery. So we are working on that also with the Young Neurosurgeon Committee. So there is now the idea to see how we can get medical students involved. So this is certainly at our attention. And so we hope to have more initiatives in this direction soon.
Thank you. So that also responds to the next question. If there are any committees or working groups, we will get on that and try to do a little community for the medical students who are already trying to be neurosurgeons. Another good question, I believe, is what role does the EANS play in supporting research collaborations between members? And I think, Katrin, could you give us an opinion on that? How EANS helped you establish a research community?
So I think that question has several different aspects. One of the aspects that Francesco Sala brought up was, for example, the observership. And it doesn't sound like something research oriented, but it actually can serve if you're in a different center, in a center where it has high quality research and you're not coming from such center yourself. It can be a starting ground for setting up, for first of all, learning research methodology or seeing what neurosurgical research actually means. And then from there, developing it further on and collaborating with that center. So that would be sort of a grassroots level. But then EANS is setting up, as Francesco Sala again said, it's dividing up the research pillar. It's going to be a tremendous investment into the research pillar of EANS. And one of those investments will be a research liaison position that is going to serve as a person who's going to promote collaboration around multi-center trials and also sort of guide EANS towards bigger kind of trials, bigger kind of funding, that sort of thing. So I think that EANS plays a major role when it comes to research collaboration on several different sort of levels.
Thank you, Katrin. Michael, can you help us more and tell us your opinion about this?
Yes, there are a lot of level of collaboration that are possible. Katrin already mentioned most of them. But from my side, I see very often surveys by sample who are spread among the community. So as soon as you are a member, you receive the mail and the possibility to participate to surveys. And at the end, most of the time, you have to communicate your email address. And if you would like to go further in a research project on that field, most of the time you are invited by the coordinators. So it's also a way to collaborate and start clinical and basic research on a daily basis. Just looking your emails and you see the high number of projects that are running through the EANS.
Thank you very much. So another question would be about the international fellowship that you said we're gonna try and do a platform where it's more easy to see. But the important part is the bureaucratic barriers that can sometimes limit our fellowship. Could the EANS help promote a greater harmonization between this medical qualification across European countries to support the international fellowship, to make it easier from people all around Europe go and take the possibility of a fellowship? Francesco, do you have any opinion or any advice on how EANS can help with this fellowship? You are muted, please.
I'm going to unmute myself. I think we went through that already, but yes, I think that you don't get a fellowship like that. You meet people before. And EANS is the perfect place where to meet people, to know what they do, what they can give you as a professional growth, how they are, if they are sympathetic or not. I know my colleagues from the congresses and courses, and then what happened to me is that I understood that that place that would be a good place for me because of the vibes, but not just that, but obviously. So if you don't get in contact with people directly, and is a perfect place, the EANS, you are not very much motivated, and how can you choose for example, your subspecialty, or where you can improve something you would like to improve. So EANS is like, a contact to a lot of levels, and luckily we have a lot of events, not just EANS congresses, but workshops and webinars like that. Also, they give us a good idea about what we do, how we are as persons. You see, it's a matter of contact, personal contact.
Thank you. Eleni, do you have something to add?
Yes. About the fellowship, how can it become more effective, and the opportunity? I have just one suggestion for people that they would like to go for a fellowship, that they should grab the opportunities, that they should actively involved in all the EANS activities, and I think the opportunities will come. After that, they need to grab the opportunity. So it is 100% sure that they will find opportunities if they are involved in EANS. There is no other way. They will find opportunities, but they should just grab the right opportunity for them.
Thank you. I have another question. What advice would you give to someone who is considering to apply for EANS individual membership? Yeah, Aysegul, could you give us an impression, a motivational one?
I can say my advice would simply be to apply and get involved as early as possible. And I can say, I'm so sorry. And EANS individual membership offers access to a very strong international network, educational activities, and many opportunities for collaboration. But the real benefit comes when you actively participate, attending courses, joining discussions, and connecting with colleagues. In my experience, these interactions can open many doors, both academically and professionally. It's my opinion, I can say.
Thank you very much. Francesco Sala, could you give us the last advice?
Yeah, I just want to touch base shortly on the previous question about whether or not the EANS can facilitate, bureaucracy to apply for fellowship across Europe. So unfortunately, the problem is that the training program across Europe are so different in many different ways that, of course, the EANS has not the possibility to impose anything to the national society, to the single national society. But of course, we can offer and propose a curriculum. There's been a very great work done by Peter Whitfield in the EANS to propose a competency-based curriculum, which is the standard that the EANS would recommend. And then, of course, it's up to the national societies to adopt or not that CV. But what we can certainly do is, and that's a little bit the spirit of the GEANS program, to offer a database, an archive, where every institution can post what they can offer. For example, just to give you an example, in Italy, we have way too many residents to be trained, and there is not enough surgical caseload for all of them to have enough exposure to surgery. In other European countries, they suffer for having too few residents and very often attending scrubbing in the case without any residents helping them. So that kind of information can be exchanged, and you can have opportunities to travel and visit different countries. The credentialing for observing only or scrubbing in and taking clinical care of patients are very different again from country to country. But we can offer that kind of information, and that can be an instrument for all the trainees and the mentor to facilitate traveling across Europe for all neurosurgeons.
Very excellent point, actually. So I think that's something that will become more and more important in the future, like exchanging residents between countries and so on. So just before closing, I think a few important messages emerged from the discussion, the talks today. Obviously, EANS membership offers a lot of different valuable opportunities for training, education. It creates a large professional network across the whole of Europe. And also it's an excellent platform for neurosurgeons to become actively involved in the society. I want to thank you very much, all of the speakers and the panelists for the excellent discussion and the excellent presentations, and also, of course, the participants who joined us today. We hope to see many of you involved in the EANS activities in the future, and hopefully also as individual members of the society. And again, thank you very much for your participation, and we all wish you a very nice evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.